Hello and welcome, it's Pete here again, and you can probably guess from looking at what I have in front of me, it's Halloween. You never guessed from my shirt, I don't know, I just took it out of the wardrobe this morning. Pink isn't exactly a Halloween colour, but why not, why not? So what we've got is the latest Vault collection from Tim Holtz. Some of your favourites, some of my favourites, but most importantly, some of Tim's favourites. So let's get a look at them. Okay, where are we going to start today? I think we'll start with Witch, Cat and Stars. Now, the Stars die itself, you can use it to cut a background. It's only about this big, but you can move it around multiple times, create your background, use the stars, or use the aperture. Now, obviously, we've seen these dies before. This is Vault, so everything about the Vault dies, there's been changes. It might be in the size, it might be in the orientation, but this was a favorite of many of you. And there's nothing like a silhouette for drama. So you don't have to be a real artist to get real artist results by doing a lovely ink background and sticking that dramatic bold silhouette over the top. And here's another example of that on this tag. Again, we're using the aperture for the stars, a very different technique, and we will be looking at some of the techniques that I use in a video a little later. So, but if you look at, and one of the things about Halloween, it does lend itself to some of these more grungy techniques. But yeah, the drama of that with that orange underneath, incredible. And that is Witch, Cat and Stars. Now, next up, I love this. When it first came out, I love it still. This is Trick or Treaters. There's something, I don't know. When you talk about Halloween and when you talk about maybe horror films, these spooky kids in a row like that, there's something really creepy about this one. Maybe it's the umbrella, I don't know. Maybe it's got sort of Tim Burton vibes. I can't honestly say. I love this trick or treat text here as well. They just seem to balance each other out so well. And let's take a look at an example using that. And again, what were we saying about silhouettes? The way that it creates a drama. And this is just a circle. It's a die cut circle, and we've done a little bit of stamping on it to look like a moon. But there are Tim's moons from a collection a couple of years back, coming in so handy for Halloween, so check those out as well if you're lucky enough to find them. But yeah, a really bold, dramatic statement just from using the silhouette. Now, next up, this is classic. This is classic Tim. It's classic Halloween. But this guy's colorized, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 4 or 5 different layers to build up this jack-o'-lantern. That's the name of the die. The artwork is brilliant, so well thought through, the way that the artwork has been put together. It allows you to use all your favorite sort of autumny oranges and reds and browns to bring out the contrast. It's just really cool. And again, there we go. It's a die cut circle, moon in the background, using again that beautiful silhouette, lovely ink background. What's not to like about that? But this is so Tim. It's nice to see one of these kind of colorized dies coming back in the Vault collection. Now, talked about silhouettes. Wow, this is Haunted House. Now, this is one of many haunted houses that Tim has done down the years, and they kind of make a village. So if you do have the others, if you have the smaller ones or the larger ones, put them all together, you can make the most incredible spooky village. But this is a classic silhouette, but I do love the details in the windows, particularly when it's backlit like this. And again, we're talking about the drama of the silhouette against a simple sky there with that moon. Bit of creative inking, and there's nothing to it, but again, I use that word drama. I do love how dramatic you can be with Halloween motifs, and you can imagine the trick-or-treaters in front of this, or maybe the pumpkin in the foreground, or even the witch or the cat. You know, these all work so well together, but individually as well, they are absolutely incredible. Now, I'm not supposed to have favorites, but I do. This one, and I'll tell you why I love this. I'll tell you why I love this, because when I work with my colleague Josh, who no doubt many of you will remember, he loved Halloween. So we kind of fought over it, and I said, you know what, I'll do Tim's Christmas and you do Tim's Halloween, because I'm a Christmas kid. So I remember him playing with these leaves and telling me how much he loved them, and I'm looking over his shoulder, sort of coveting the work that he was doing and wishing that I could be using them, and I never got the chance. And then here they are. And when I heard that Tim was bringing these back, I was doing somersaults. Not literally, I'm a bit old for somersaults, but you know what I mean. But there you go, nice, using two of them, just distress inks, just creating a background and die cutting. Nothing to. How about this? Using crackle paste. This is Tim's crackle paste. I'll lift this up, and I'm hoping that you guys can pick that up. But wow, incredible. Really, really cool. And you know what? As spectacular as these look, there's nothing to it. It's really easy. And I'm going to be doing a video showing you some of the techniques that you can use to get the best out of these leaves. And look at that one. Now this one has embossing, clear embossing powder on it, but it's also embossed with a leaf pattern. More of that in a little while. But this is leaf fragments, and I mean, you know, it's not just Halloween, it's also about autumn or fall, depending where you are geographically. But what a great opportunity to play around with acrylics, to play around with inks, to play around with just those grungy, messy, spritzy, smoochy techniques to get the best. I could work just with this set of dies for the next week and be happy, happy, happy. But wow, there you go. Leaf fragments. Yeah, it is my favorite. I had to say it. I'm sorry about that. But you know, while we're talking about favorites, I've had a lot of favorite alphabets down the years. Tim releases absolutely killer alphabets. This is called Cutout Lower. And what I love about this is it looks great in aperture, right? So everything that was cut out of there is stuck on here. So you're seeing the positive and the negative. But one of the things about this is it's very frivolous in its nature, you know, whimsical, which is the word Tim likes to use, and it does have that sort of whimsy about it. But what is great now, I trained as a graphic designer, and I also trained in calligraphy, and I know how important it is that you get letter spacing perfect. With this, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You can have fun with this. You can play around with this. The kids can use things like this, and it's always going to look great. So it's a real level. It doesn't matter if you're a graphic designer. It doesn't matter if you're a calligrapher. It's always going to look cool. And I want to show you a couple of examples, okay, using that alphabet. So what I've done here, I've double cut, stuck them together, and then stuck them down. And we used acrylic techniques to get these funky things going on. But obviously, you're looking at what's going on here in the foreground with these fantastic phrases. But what about the background? What about the background? Well, let's take this one. Let's take this one first, because that was produced using, and again, we're talking about favorites, and you think, Pete, you've got so many favorites. Well, I do have so many favorites. That's very true. And this is one of them. This is Cracked. This came out a couple of years ago in a standard size folder, which is half the size of this. This is an A5 texture fades 3D embossing folder, and it's called Cracked. And it's kind of like old wood that has been sun bleached and cracked. Maybe there's different layers of paint. All that wonderful color you see there, that was created using a brayer. It's just, man. I could use this all the live along. And you'll notice the lines up here. So it's almost like in 3 sections. So if you wanted to cut these into, say you did 3 in different colors, cut them into planks, put them together in a random nature. But, you know, and what I love about this is, obviously we're talking Halloween, but Christmas follows pretty close behind. It's great if you use grays and, you know, pale grays as well to get a sort of a festive kind of wood vibe going on. This one, autumn is my favorite color, and I do love autumnal colors, not just Halloween, but autumn as well. This is called Foliage, and look at the color, but it's not about the color, it's about the detail. The level of detail combined with the richness of color is just extraordinary. Again, this is a previous design from Tim, but it's blown up to A5 from A6 half size. It just makes such a great background. It looks great if you do it in like coppers, you know, metallic cardstock as well. You can see how it sits behind that phrase. It's just the best. And you know what, I did a show recently, a TV show with these A5 folders on, and people have really taken to them, taken them to their hearts, and I'm not surprised really. But what a wonderful collection again from Tim. Another Vault collection, bringing back, as I say, not just his favorites, but your favorites as well. These are dies that have always been popular. So it kind of makes sense because we know that you already love them. Tim knows that you already love them. I think it's just such a fantastic collection with a riot of color, and it allows you to bring out all of your favorite techniques. And so there you have it, another wonderful collection from Tim, as we've come to expect. There's something for everybody in this collection. As I said, I'm loving the huge 3D folders. Well, you know what I think of leaf fragments, and one of my favorite alphabets of all time. So thanks for joining me today. Obviously, if you want to find out more about these things, go to Tim's website, timholtz.com, and all the usual places, YouTube, Instagram, you know the drill. But thanks for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. I'll see you soon.